Hello everyone, my name is Rosin, and welcome back to Newtype Netplay. This is the series where I take a look at my Mobile Suit Gundam Extreme vs. Maxi Boost on match footage and just chronicle my personal journey as a player of this game. Just a little bit of behind-the-scenes info here for you. I'm actually recording this one fresh off the heels of the other one. I was originally planning on recording episode 8 and then going to bed, but it started raining, and sorry if you can hear the rain going on out there. Most of the time, I talk about rain or bad weather or stuff like that, and people say that they can never hear it or just barely hear it or whatever, so I'm sure it's fine. But if you hear a little bit of what sounds like a little bit of a shower out there, that's the reason why. And actually, it looks like there's an ambulance stopping at a house down the road. Hope everything's okay over there. Sorry, just getting distracted looking out my window and not talking about the matches. So, speaking of the matches, this is me playing a few games with Mark here as the Zeta Gundam. Now, I believe I hinted at this earlier in the series, but eventually at some point what the series became was me going to record it and saying, ooh, let me try out this suit this time actually, and dedicating individual episodes to individual suits. So look forward to a lot of that going forward. Now, there are a few suits that I technically feel like I main in this game, including the Crossbone X2 that you've seen me play a lot of in earlier episodes, but we're going to start to get a little bit away from that. Don't worry, you'll still be seeing a little bit of that here and there, and a few other suits I like to play, but there reached a point where what this game became for me was me hopping on, logging into the online, and going, okay, what suit can I try out this time? And trying to succeed with suits that I was unfamiliar with. I will admit, as an MBON player, I have somewhat sacrificed depth for breadth. That is something that has bitten me in the ass, I think, as this game has gone on. There's a lot of advanced concepts and stuff for the suits that I main that I could probably spend a lot more time practicing, and I could definitely go for a little bit more focus. But one thing that I do think, one reason I think I really do like MBON compared to other competitive fighting games and stuff of this type is that it actually, compared to a lot of other games, it is kind of easier to have more of a wide breadth of play styles and really pick up a suit and learn how to play it over the course of 1 or 2 online sessions and just a couple hours of really spending time with it and doing some basic research at how you're supposed to play it, whereas with a lot of other fighting games, they really reward picking a main or picking 1 or 2 characters and really becoming familiar with those, with those characters and what they can do, and just navigating all of the different possibilities there. Whereas with MBON, I feel like each of these individual characters, while they have a lot of complexities and depth, maybe not as complex and not as much depth as, like a dedicated 2D or 3D fighting game or something like that. And a lot of the skills you learn from one suit definitely transfer over to at least a couple other different suits in this game. There's only a handful of suits that I feel like are truly unique in this game. Every time you pick a new suit and you start to learn how to play it, I feel like you are learning tools and skills that are going to help you in other areas of MBON play with other different suits and stuff. Honestly, even playing a lot of the regulars in the online and stuff, there are very few times where I feel like I run into people and it's like, oh, that person always plays, that suit, I feel like most players of MBON have a couple different suits that they like to cycle between, and they'll have times where, they'll play their main for an hour in a lobby, and then they'll go, fuck it, let's try a few different suits that I haven't tried yet. And that's just something that I think I really love about this game, and I think really helped me hold interest compared to other fighting games where, maybe there's something, there's a mental wall or something I have with digging deeper into just a limited pool of characters or something like that, whereas with MBON, I have a lot more variety, though again, like I said, sometimes I do feel like I neglect learning what my mains are capable of, because I do spend so much time playing all sorts of suits and recording these episodes, so, always sacrifice something, but at the same time, I do think that the way I'm tackling things still has its worth. And it allows me to make fun videos like this for y'all, and that eventually at some point became a motivating factor for me playing, just hopping online and looking up GG Easy and all, the Japanese wiki that has info and all that stuff, and just really digging into these suits and being like, okay, let's try out, I don't know, let's try out the new Gundam this time and see what it can do, or just being able to explore all the different options there. So now that we're 5 minutes in, I should probably actually talk about the Zeta. The Zeta is actually a kind of weird suit in this game, and that's the reason I wanted to pick it. I like the Zeta a lot. I know it's kind of a controversial design, I feel like, in some ways. I've heard a lot of people say that they think the Zeta is just a little too weird for their tastes. I actually really like that about not just Zeta the Gundam, but Zeta the series in general. I love how fucking weird and out there Zeta Gundam allows its mechanical designs to get. And that extends to the Zeta Gundam itself. And that kind of, I feel, that design sensibility and how weird it is compared to the traditional quote-unquote Gundam design, I think kind of reflects in its playstyle, too. The Zeta Gundam is generally an all-rounder type suit, but I wouldn't say that it's the easiest suit to pick up and play in the 2,500 cost category. There's other suits that are way better for that, such as the Freedom, actually, is a really good 2,500 suit that you're going to hear recommended a lot to beginners who are learning the game, just because it's very simple to play, it's very intuitive, and has a lot of great tools. The Zeta also has a great tool set, it's just that it's very quirky. Has a really good Hyaku Shiki assist that will stun the enemy that you can follow up on. Also has a Beam Confuse AoE stun attack that I think you see me use wrong here plenty of times, because I think I didn't realize that it was a multi stage attack where you throw out the beam saber and then the Zeta follows up by shooting it, and then it has like an AoE stun effect. I don't think I quite realized that, so you're gonna see in these matches a few times where that super was pretty sick actually. There's a few times in these matches where I throw out the beam confuse, but I don't actually do the second part of it. Like, I just toss out the beam saber and then I cancel the move, which was very silly of me. I didn't know what I was doing. It also is the first suit that I played that has a Wave Rider mode, which is a thing you can do where you hold down the boost button and then double tap a direction, and you can start flying around in a jet form. And it opens up a lot of mobility options that a lot of suits don't necessarily have. Whenever you have a Wave Rider form, you can always take advantage of it, at least most of the time. Some suits have a Wave Rider form that aren't always the best. Looking at you, Silver and Gold Sumo, in my opinion, just a waste of time. But most of the time, 9 times out of 10, if your suit has a transformation mode that you can switch into to fly around and stuff, it's a really great way to just outmaneuver the opponent and get in ways that other suits just aren't capable of. Now, you're not going to see me take a lot of advantage of it here just because I really didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I could have been a lot better with it, admittedly, but, you know, I did my best and took advantage of, not only, this thing has a great main rifle shot, actually. Very, very good at doing that, though I think, I don't remember, let me look at its ammo count. Yeah, 6 shots isn't the greatest ammo count in the world, but it's not the worst either. But yeah, this thing's beam rifle is pretty cool. It has the little wrist-mounted missile stuff that you can do right there as your sub, which I just did to hit the Sand Rock. You have the Hyper Mega Launcher, I believe it's called. God, sometimes I hate Tomino's naming for, I don't know if Tomino's necessarily responsible for the weapon names for UC stuff, but sometimes you have to cringe a little bit when you're forced to say Hyper Mega Launcher, but it's pretty good for what it is. Beam Confuse, as I stated before, is a good AoE, and of course the Hyakushiki assist is a really solid like chase down assist option. So yeah, the Zeta's moveset is a little weird and finicky, but once you get used to it, it's a pretty fun suit. But really, you are going to want to learn how to do the Wave Rider stuff just to be able to take full advantage of it. And you know, you're going to want to make sure that you kind of do what I do there and find opportunities to use that Hyper Mega. I'm going to look up. This is bothering me. What the fuck is that thing called? Hyper Mega. Yeah, Hyper Mega Launcher. That's the name of it. I always forget what that thing's called because I always forget it exists, because it's probably my least favorite aspect of the Zeta's design is that dumb Hyper Mega Launcher. But yeah, you're going to want to find opportunities to use that thing to snipe out the enemy, and you can deal some pretty solid damage with it. as well as, of course, like I've been stating, using the Wave Rider form to move around the map in ways that you can use to your advantage. Trying to help out my partner there, but a little late. See, that would have been a good situation actually, where I switched to my jet form, and I could have. Ooh, that was a really bad melee. Ew, yeah, that was really sloppy play there on my part. So here's my favorite part of. Well, okay, you're not going to see it yet, but I know it'll happen this match for sure. I remember this match fondly. You can actually do the Wave Rider crash, where you just ram into the enemy, just like what happens in the TV show. And it gets buffed significantly when you do it in burst, which you'll see in a bit. But it's really fun. Whenever the Zeta goes into burst in an online match, you know that the person's going to start fishing for that Wave Rider crash. It's just something that Zeta players are inclined to do, which I find very funny. But, you know, I understand. It does a shit ton of damage. It's very easy to burst out of, just because it's so extended of an animation. But it's kind of hard to cut in a way because it always travels, too. So, see, here you go. You're going to see me go for it. Look at that damage, and look at how far we're going. God damn, that was beautiful. It feels so satisfying to land, though. Like, you land it once, and you understand why every Zeta player in the goddamn world tries to go for that move whenever they activate first. It was a pretty solid match. Made some sloppy mistakes in the beginning there, but overall pretty happy with that. Double X mirror match going on in this match here. Now, if I remember correctly from what I've read, I could be wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure that 3K, 2.5K is like the competitive meta for this game, or at least the ideal team comp. Though that's not to say it's the only valid one. You know, you can do a couple different team compositions, but some unit cost pairs are better than others in this game. But, you know, it all depends on your mobile suit choice for what the ideal comp is. But from what I understand, in most cases, most competitive teams run 3K and 2.5K, with the 3K playing the front and the 2.5K playing the back. But, you know, again, that's something that matters at a way higher level than what most players in the Western MBON community are going to be worried about, necessarily. Somehow managed to get that Wave Rider crash all the way through the explosion. That was pretty sick. And there we go. Just shoot a couple missiles at the double X, and there we go. Sorry, Garrett, but Kamille says no. No flying today. You know, as much as I like the Zeta's design, like, I like it a lot, I really have never been a fan of that shield. It's just too narrow. I don't know if anyone else agrees, but the Exia actually kind of has the same problem for me. I don't like when Gundam shields are too, like, just super narrow like that. Like, what's the... I don't know, what's the point? Like, you're covering the arm, I guess, and I guess some protection's better than no protection, but... if you're gonna have a shield, it should at least be a little wider than that, I feel. It just looks a little silly to me. Maybe the idea is that the arm is so fast that it doesn't matter because it can cover whatever it needs to protect so fast anyways, but... and maybe it's just the fact that I got so used to the, you know, RX-78-2's shield watching that show, but that always bothered me watching Zeta. It's like, why the fuck is this thing's shield so skinny compared to the Gundam's, the original Gundam and the Mark II? Like, what is it protecting? It just bothered me. God, I really hate fighting the Arch Gundam. I'm Arch. I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm sorry, but been a while since I've watched 00. But that thing is a nightmare to fight in melee if you're not playing a dedicated melee suit. Very tricky suit to fight. See, like right there. If it gets into melee range, you can expect to get hit. That's for sure. Shot my launcher a little too early there, unfortunately, but was still able to take the game there. Ooh, damn, that was a pretty solid attack score there. Ooh, got a match against a double 3K team here. 2.5K and 2K team comp, while I don't think it's technically like super often used in the meta, is at least a team comp that I like to play just in player matches and stuff like that, because you still have like someone who obviously is going to be like, their suit was designed more for a frontal role. 2.5K is kind of interesting because a lot of the time people kind of associate it with like, oh, I'm playing back because I'm going to support a 3K partner. But you know, technically speaking, if you're partnered up with a 1.5K or a 2K, you're going to want to be the one playing front. So these suits are very versatile in that way, and can be very fun to play as because of that. Especially in shuffle lobbies and stuff like that, because you always kind of can bank on being able to switch up your role like that. But as I was saying, I really like playing 2.5K and 2K team comps because you don't have to worry as much about overcost type stuff compared to when you have a beefy 3K on your team. I can't believe I was able to land that super. Not a fan of the Zeta super, honestly. Like the super was one of my favorite parts of the show when it does the big beam slash, and also really love how I closed the match out there, just shot him right out of the sky. But the big beam slash towards the end of Zeta Gundam was one of my favorite parts of the show, but I actually don't like it as a super in MBON just because it's so unreliable and hard to land. Also, it could be the case I was probably just bad still when I was playing these matches, and just not picking ample times to try to land it or try to go for it, but I probably could have been a lot better with trying to land the beam super, honestly, but I think it could be maybe just a little bit faster, though. Who knows, maybe that would make it overpowered, or maybe it was faster in an earlier version of the game and they decided it was too good, so they had to nerf it. I am unfamiliar with this game's former versions at a competitive level, so I couldn't tell you. Fighting the Kamille here. It's pretty fun. Kamille is a shockingly scary suit to fight in melee range. Its combo damage is ridiculous. Trying to fish for the Wave Rider there, as you can see, but didn't end up going for that, but was able to get the kill anyways, it's just as the Wing Zero killed me. Again, taking kind of more of a front roll here with the 2.5K. I never know if I finished my earlier thought, but as I was saying, the 2.5K, 2K combination is one I like, not only because of the lessened overcost thing, I know I talked about that, but also the fact that it's still a team comp where it's very clear who's supposed to be playing front and who's supposed to be playing back. Not sure if I ever ended up getting to that point because I kept cutting myself off. I have a nasty habit of doing that in my videos. If you've watched me long enough, you've probably picked up on that already. And God, look at that size difference. I know I need to stop pointing that out, and it's not a shocker to anyone who's a Gundam fan, but God, the Victory and the F91 are so tiny compared to the regular early UC mobile suits. Getting surrounded here, unfortunately. I really have a... Speaking of nasty habits, I really have been doing a bad job, I've noticed this episode. Ooh, that was... Speaking of bad super usage. No, I did a really bad job this episode I'm seeing in these matches with trying to shoot enemies on Wake Up with the Hyper Mega Beam Launcher. Just shooting it way too early. And even then, they could block it or sidestep out of the way, even. It's very easy to dodge, but, you know, sometimes it's worth fishing for those types of hits on Wake Up. Just if catch them not paying attention, or, you know, they might still be locked onto your partner and not you, and you might be able to sneak in a hit there. Yeah! Let's go again. Oh, there you go. Extend burst, though. Like I said, whenever you get hit with that Wave Rider crash, if you're able to use your burst and escape, that is a good time to do so, because that thing does a shit ton of damage, and the animation's so long that you have plenty of time to burst out of it. See, there I am using the beam confuse again, but not actually letting the full move go off. So I just throw out the saber and did nothing about it. That was very goofy of me. That was a close match, but luckily was able to win that last engagement there, and fortunately cleaned up the round. Damn, that was also a very good match in terms of my attack score. Match started a little rough with me getting surrounded there, unfortunately, but was able to bring it back. Holy shit, I just looked at our win streak too. Mark and I really went on a tear there, it looks like. 7 win streak, goddamn. Here we go, we got a, not a mirror match, but we're closing out the video here with a student versus mentor matchup. Kamille versus Quattro himself. God, this entire match, actually. All mobile suit designs I like. Really love the Hyakushiki. Love the Zeta even more. Absolutely adore the Penelope's design. I know a lot of people don't like it because of how fucking weird and colossal it is, but I love it in all of its pointy glory. And Victory is, in my opinion, a very underrated Gundam design. It's just very sleek. Like it a lot. I like the V2 even more, but the original Victory, still very good Gundam. Unfortunately, enemy has the life lead here, but gonna do what we can to bring it back. Odysseus really could have hit me there. I think maybe if he was a little more calculated with the movement, they probably could have hit me. But then they decided to rush in like that, and I was able to just, you know, shoot them and get the kill. But and there we go, cleaned out the round there. Shoutouts to Mark for ending that match. But as I was saying, the Penelope can be kind of tricky to fight against sometimes because when it converts from the Penelope to the Odysseus, it's invincible for a bit. But fortunately, was not a problem for this match. So yeah, that was another Newtype Netplay episode. Hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.